Hello, I'm back. So we're going to do some more meme warfare on the pro-choice memes. What specifically I'm doing here is we're going to look through lots of the popular pro-choice memes that are going around all the time. We're going to kind of address those from a Christian perspective. And the main thing I want you to get, this isn't so much for pro-choice people. It's more for pro-life people, pro-life Christians in particular, how to think biblically about these issues and how to kind of be comfortable with the sorts of arguments that pro-choice people are going to make and how to work through those. And basically got a strategy, a three-pronged strategy I'm going to suggest here. One is always redirect to the central issue. The central issue is that pro-life people are saying, hey, your bodily autonomy does not allow you to murder somebody. You have to explain why you think it's okay to kill an innocent human being through abortion. And the pro-choice side has options to respond to this. They can say, I don't think it's a person because reasons ABC, or and you give actual reasons, don't just say ABC, or I understand it's a child, but I still think it's okay to kill it because reasons XYZ. Again, don't actually say XYZ. You have to have actual reasons for it. But what we tend to find, and I think we'll see this as we go through memes, I'm just going to take whatever pops up first. But what we tend to find is that the pro-choice people really don't want to address the life of the child at all. So the three-pronged strategy we're going to do as we go through this is, one, always redirect to the central issue of contention, which is the life of the child. Why do you think it's okay to murder an innocent child? Two, if there's an easy way, kind of flip the issue on them. If they give you like a really easy way to turn it around on them, turn it around on them. Not in a mean way, just in a redirecting towards the argument. And three, you'll often get caught in these little side issues that instead of addressing the life of the child or even really anything to do with abortion, they'll just throw a bunch of other things at you. That stuff's distraction. It's noise. Ignore it. Now, I'm going to actually address those briefly, just so that you don't get too distracted. My idea is that I don't want you to get too distracted, like, oh, maybe that is a problem. Because a lot of times, pro-choice people go on the attack and basically just say, well, you're a trash person, so your opinion doesn't matter. You need to, have some knowledge of what the truth is on those matters so you don't get easily distracted. So yeah, let's start going through them. We'll kind of just take whatever pops up and see what we can do with them. All right, so we're back here. All right, so we're back here where we left off. Let's see if we have any other good pro-choice memes. All right, here. Yeah, I've seen this one. Quote of the day. Don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it. Unknown quote. And that doesn't know where that comes from. And then it's got a picture of the mother throwing away the baby like it's a basketball. And I actually like this one. It's pretty funny. I have a dark sense of humor. I know many of you don't, so apologize if this is offensive to you. I know a lot of people don't think you should make offensive jokes about anything that could offend somebody, and I think those are the funniest ones. So, even though this, the idea that this supports murder of children is horrible, still funny to me. I also think this one is immensely appropriate, actually. I kind of like that this one goes around, to be honest, and I'll explain why here in a second. So, first of all, let's see. Does this deal with the central issue of contention, the life of the child? Yes, it actually does. Now, it doesn't deal with it as directly as I'd like for it to, but what's it show here? It shows that the woman, which it characterizes as somebody who spent a lot of time making a mistake, throwing away a baby. And yeah, that is what is happening in abortion. It's exactly the scenario, except if you threw a baby like that, it would probably live, and the ones that are terminated in pregnancy are not. So, less funny now. But, it's actually accurately representing things. It's saying, look, you made a mistake. You don't have to be responsible for it or stick with it. Just throw away that trash child. Kill it. It doesn't matter. Now, what makes it funny in part is the big smile on the mother and baby's face. I'm sorry, that still strikes me as funny. But in essence, if you strip away the humorous image and just stick with what's saying, it's just saying, okay, you made a child. It was a mistake. Kill the child. Which I appreciate the honesty in that. Now, I suspect many of the times people who post it don't take it that way, but if you just look at what it is, that's actually what it is. I also think it's very appropriate that the woman and child are black, because Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was a a horrible racist woman who wanted to exterminate black people, and that's part of the reason she started Planned Parenthood, to get rid of what she considered undesirable people like black people or poor people. She just thought their existence was pathetic and miserable and a drain on society, so she wanted them dead. And to this day, Planned Parenthood overwhelmingly sets up in majority black neighborhoods, and half of all pregnancies in New York City amongst black women end in abortion. So there's a lot of black kids being killed. So again, a very appropriate meme, and I approve this one going out. I think it accurately represents the pro-choice people's position, and I appreciate them owning it. All right, here's another one. Comedian here. I get it. Abortions are not for everybody. They're like children that way. So this is another one that I actually kind of like. It's a clever turn of phrase. I appreciate a well-constructed joke. I'm sorry if you are not as dark and evil a person as I am, that you can appreciate this sort of humor. But it's funny because it's a well-constructed phrase. In terms of actually substantive argument, well, let's look at the comments here. That's it. That's the whole argument. That's literally the best way I've ever seen to describe it. Well, that doesn't speak particularly well of the arguments these particular people have seen, spiderbesiderr. So what, in essence, is actually being said here? Well, in essence, it's just saying, hey, not everybody wants kids, so you shouldn't have to have a kid if you don't want to. Which, as far as it goes, is true, except when you already have a child, in which case the only way to not have a child is to murder the child, in which case, why do you think you have the right to murder a child? Always direct back to that. That's the central issue. So yes, you already have a child if you are pregnant. The only question is whether or not you're going to murder it or whether you're going to carry it to term and you don't have to raise it is another thing. That's always the implication that you either have to deal with a child that's going to make you miserable and you're going to make it miserable too. It's amazing how many pro-choice people actually admit to that being their framework as if that's the only option. How about this? How about you don't be a completely selfish person that's willing to murder another person for your own benefit, and instead you go ahead and carry out what 99%+ of the time was your own choice to engage in an activity that was risking a pregnancy. Rather than making the child pay for it and murder the child, why don't you just bear your responsibility, literally, and then give it to somebody who's going to love it? If you're somebody who wants to kill the child or is even tempted by it, it'd probably be better in another home. All we're asking is for a child not to be murdered. It doesn't seem super unreasonable. All right, so seem to be getting some repeats there, or pro-life memes. You really get a lot of pro-choice. Or you'd think when you Google pro-choice memes, you get pro-choice memes, but there are tons of pro-life ones. All right, here's another one. Hey guys, people confused looking. I'm a pro-choice Christian, and then everybody turns into the big rage monster, and the person runs off. So not really much to say here. Obviously, it doesn't address the life of the child. Yes, people get angry when you say you're a Christian, but you also support you're not directly, if you want to split hairs, you're not supporting murder, you're supporting the right to murder. Yeah, people get upset with that. Christians have a hard time accepting that you would approve of murder, the right to murder as a child of God. So, it's no different to us than if you were killing a 1-year-old or 2-year-old or 3-year-old. It's no different to us to kill a child one day after it's outside the womb than it is one day before it's outside the womb, when it is still a fully formed child. So yeah, if you can't understand that does upset us, I don't know what to say. Here's good old Gene Wilder. I love this meme. This is just the format is a pretty good one. I'm a Christian. I love all my neighbors, and I am here to serve all, unless of course they are LGBT, liberal, socialist, pro-choice, anti-war, or anti-guns. All right. So does this address the life of the child? No, of course it does not. This is something I actually think this may be the most common type of pro-choice meme I see, where it never actually addresses anything regarding pro-choice. It just throws out like a like a shotgun blast of other little pellets of fights that they want to start because they'd rather talk about anything else other than the life of the child. It's just sort of a "you're a trash person, so don't talk to me" sort of tactic. So somebody brought this up in pro-life debate. You could just say, "Hey, I really just want to talk about the pro-choice issue right now. Why do you think it's okay to kill a child?" You know? This also be a good time to, rather than get defensive, probably just to ask questions like, how did you come to the conclusion that Christians do nothing to serve the, all these groups? That would be a very good question, don't you think? And rather than trying to get defensive and be like, "Nuh-uh, we do blah, 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 blah," or "blee, blee, 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 blee," or "you're wrong for bleep, blop." No, just why bother? They want to start a fight. And somebody who posts something like this wants to start a fight. Rather than engage, just, I would say, ask them some questions, see what's going on in their head, and they'll either have some good things to share, in which case you probably will be able to build more off of whatever they share at that point, or they won't, and they'll just call more names, in which case there's nothing further to do in that conversation. The central place this is wrong is just that I love my neighbors and I am here to serve all. I don't know of many Christians. I mean, you can always find exceptions, but I don't know many Christians who are like, "I'm doing a good work for somebody," unless you are any of these things. Any of these groups listed here. If you're any of these people, then I have nothing to do with you. I'm not going to do anything nice for you. I'm not familiar with that happening. I can't think of any instances, actually, but I am sure that you can find instances. It's a big country, 300 million plus people. You can find examples. I get it. But it doesn't mean it's common. And usually what seems to be talked about by the left is just, "You're not agreeing with us by this, therefore you hate us and you're treating us in mean ways." And I know some people legit treat these people in mean ways in any of these groups, but yeah, disagreeing with you, even passionately disagreeing with you, is not being a vicious person who's not serving all. In fact, by trying to tell you, "Hey, we think you're wrong on this stuff," we are trying to serve you, because one of the best things you can do for somebody is to try to correct them when they're doing something that is wrong or harmful. All right, here's old Kirk Cameron. I'm not actually familiar with this meme. I get I know the hat part. That's for somebody who's a dirtbag. But I don't know about the color scheme. Not relevant, sorry. Is pro-life, tells a pro-choice person to kill themselves in an argument. So, does this address the life of the child? No, it doesn't. Okay? The central idea of this is just simply, Kirk Cameron is a jerk, so shut up. I think a lot of people think that we Christians are very attached to Kirk Cameron, when I don't know any who particularly are. I mean, he seems like an alright guy. I liked, he was in Fireproof. That was a pretty good movie, grading a little bit on a curve for Christian movies, but it was an enjoyable made-for-TV level movie, even without being Christian. Other than that, I don't think I have any attachment to Kirk Cameron. But anyway, regardless, it doesn't address life of the child in any way. This is just no, your side stinks. That's pretty much the substance here, which is to say no substance at all. So what you can easily do is just to defang the argument, turn this around on them, is just say, "Okay, sure, let's grant that Kirk Cameron is just the biggest scumbucket in the world. Sorry, Kirk Cameron, if you're out there, but yeah, he's a horrible person. Okay. Regardless, what does that have to do with you thinking it's okay to murder a child just because it's convenient for you?" All right, always bring it back to that issue. As far as this particular thing with Kirk Cameron, whatever he did or said, I tried to find it. I couldn't find it. I don't know what they're talking about, so whatever. I would not be surprised if he did say something mean. Maybe he's even a horrible person. I don't know, but it's not relevant. Oh no! Goodness. Well, this one I can't go through real quick, so I'll leave it as a... Should I do this one quick? Alright, I hate to do it, but I think I'm going to have to end it here. I have thoughts ready to go on this one, but I can't picture getting through them in less than like 6 minutes or so, and I'm afraid this video is already getting a little too long. Also, it's time for me to go to bed. I need to go to bed now, so I can be awake in the morning when I go to work. You understand. Anyway, I definitely have thoughts on this. If you guys are really enjoying this, let me know, and I will come back to this and do this in some more. I could probably do many more videos like this before we start to get through all the types of arguments that are made. But the problem with this one is it's got that shotgun blast of no, you stink, you're the bad guys, and it just hits with 6 completely separate issues and start 6 new fights. So, you know, to respond to that halfway appropriately would take a few minutes. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.